The nicest and most benevolent president in the world has done what he knows how to do best: released dozens of criminals, terrorists, bandits back into the society. This is the same society whose citizens are suffering from series of unprecedented attacks from terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, and all forms of death you can ever think of. Now, before we get into the whole details of all this, my name is Zaka Timothy, and I'm only but a concerned citizen of this country. I just want to see Nigeria better. That is my only concern. And honestly, I have to apologize to you for not posting as much as I ought to. I've actually been back and forth with a lot of things, but in order not to create excuses, I am back full time. And trust me, I'm going to be creating back to back. So yeah, let's get into it. You're very much welcome. Now, on the 9th of October, President Tinubu released 175 inmates from the prison under the guise of presidential pardon. And of course, the basic qualification for this release is that the person must have been of good conduct and must have been remorseful over the few years that this person has been in prison. But there's a big problem with what President Tinubu did. Now, before we move into the gravity and statistics of all that is going on, we need to look at the most prominent names that have been in everybody's lips over the past few days regarding the presidential clemency and pardon that President Tinubu gave out. The first on this list is Mariam Sanda, who stabbed her husband to death some time ago, and she was sentenced to death by hanging. One of these persons also is Kelvin, a very notorious kidnapper. In fact, his own case is something I just cannot wrap my head around. And the last one on the list is former Major General Suleiman Akugbo, who was a terrorist arms dealer, and he was in the Nigerian army Assad when he was carrying out his practices. So like I said earlier, the total number of persons that President Tinubu gave this pardon to were 175. Now, on this list, we have about 22 murderers who were given presidential clemency by the president, 12.6% of the total, many with death sentences or life imprisonment, and some of these persons only served 5 years before they were given this presidential pardon. And the next on this list were drug traffickers. These people topped the list in all ramifications with about 28 to 70 individuals, making the total sum of 16 to 40% of the total estimates. And of course, these people dealt mostly in heroin, cocaine, narcotics, while some served only 2 years out of the total sentences they gave them before they were given the almighty pardon. And also on this list, we had kidnappers and armed robbers. These persons have no reasons to be released, but of course, we are seeing them being released. And they made about 3.2% of the total whole, with approximately 5 to 6 individuals who comprised of this total list. Of course, some of these persons were given life imprisonment, death by hanging, and other serious punishments that come with this kind of crimes. But we are seeing that most of these persons served barely 10 years and they have been released. Now, just to go over the total summary of this number, we had drugs with 29.9%, unlawful mining with 24.0%, homicide 13.5%, fraud/corruption 12.3%, hijacking is 5.8%, firearms 2.3%, robbery/theft 2.3%, kidnapping 1.8%, human trafficking 1.8%, and others, making the total sum of 5.8%. Now, let us be very honest with ourselves. This number is very, very scary. And it is scary in the sense that what this means is that we are having the worst of the worst come back into the society to repeat what has been done. Because you cannot tell me that they have rehabilitated these people that spent their entire span of adulthood terrorizing, kidnapping, and killing people, and you want to tell me that you have rehabilitated these people under how many weeks or months or years? We do not have such mechanisms, if that is what I am very sure of. And even if we have those kind of mechanisms, are people not meant to serve the prison times for the offenses they have committed? In order to point out the gravity of what has been done, let us go back to the three persons. Mariam Sanda, for instance. This is a lady that orchestrated and masterminded the killing of her husband with multiple attempts by stabbing in different parts of the body. This person right here is a real danger to the society. But guess how many years this person spent? 5 years, because she was sentenced in 2020. How can you spend 5 years for killing someone? What do you think the family of these persons are going to think? Also, we have the case of Kelvin Prosper, which is the worst of all. This is a notorious kidnapper. This same person masterminded the kidnaps of different people, even the kidnap of Mike Ozokome. This person also kidnapped a lot of people over the years, and he confessed to killing a whole lot of his victims. This same person even threatened the whole of Nigeria as a whole, told the government that if they do not release his boys, he was going to do a lot of things. He was going to do that before he was caught. This is the same person that President Tinubu of Nigeria has released to go back into the society. Think about this for a second. Also, we have the case of Major Suleiman Alabi Akubo. This is a person that sold over 7,000 arms to the Niger Delta militants. These militants, of course, you know what they do. They kill at will, do all sorts of things for whoever is sending them. This person was sentenced in 2008 and he spent only 17 years in jail. Do you think the witnesses that contributed to them going to jail in the first place are safe? Do you think the families of these people are safe? Do you think Nigeria as a whole is safe in the hands of people like this into the society? Now, another aspect of this that a lot of people are not looking at is the fact that this is a very big slap on the face of the judiciary. We are complaining that the judiciary is corrupt. Okay, the judiciary has done something in order to salvage the situation, or they are trying to salvage the situation by sending the wrong people to jail, by sending terrorists to prison. Yet, President Tinubu is busy releasing these same people that the court has sent to jail. What kind of message do you think this is sending to those people who are thinking about doing same? Of course, they can buy their way out through a presidential pardon. How much really is the presidential pardon? How much? What is the price? Honestly, I do not understand why this is even getting me so upset, because we have thousands of terrorists that have been sent back into the society, all in the name of what? Rehabilitation. I think this is paining me because after praising the courts for doing the right thing by sending the criminals and terrorists to the prisons, we are here having them released again. It is just like the judiciary did it and the president went and undid everything that was done. How crazy can this be? My final message to Nigerians is that you need to wake up. How much more can you take from this government before you do something in order to salvage your lives and the lives of your family and loved ones? Nigeria as we have it today does not have law. If Nigeria is not a failing state, it is already a failed state. Nigeria is already having cracks that are irreparable, that only a revolution can repair. Nigerians need to wake up. At what point do you decide that this is enough? At what point do you decide that what we are faced in the hands of government is way more than what we can take? That is my only question for you today. And please, if you are not subscribed to this channel, I implore you to do that immediately, because what I do is comment on societal issues, socio-economic and political issues that concern you as a Nigerian and concerns me as a Nigerian. Please, you need to get yourself acquainted with all these issues. Do not say that it does not concern you. As far as you are born in Nigeria and carry the tag of Nigeria, no matter where you live, this matter concerns you. And until I see you next time, I remain Zaka Timothy. Please subscribe to the channel. Peace.